Hi everybody, Karen here. I'm up visiting my dad, so we're not going to do this live, so I'm pre-recording this. And but I'm just going to pretend that it's live, and we might end up with dogs barking or neighbors wanting to come and say hi or whatever. So, and sorry about the glasses, but these are my reading glasses, and if I don't have them on, then I can't see anything. So, isn't this nice? It's so nice here. So nice here. Okay. I was actually going to skip this video, but the blog post came out and I thought, you know what? I think this is going to become one of my favorite blog posts. It's called, what is it called? I have it right here. Morning routines and the culture of shame. So we're going to talk about something that really bugs me. And that's the idea that if it's all the baggage that comes around with the word late, as in staying up late and sleeping late, and this whole culture of shame and judgment that looks down upon people who happen to prefer being productive in the evening. Okay, let's dive in. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. So I'm actually probably just going to mostly read this, but I have it right here. But, you know, if you would rather read it instead of listening to me, please head over to the blog, theessentialmusician.ca, and you'll see it. It's the very first one. While you're over there, one of the things that I dive into, and you've heard me talk about this quite a bit, is the problem of bedtime revenge procrastination. And I have one of those annoying pop-ups that says, you give me your email address and I'll give you a freebie. But you know what? The freebie's really good. The freebie, the PDF download, is a worksheet to help you work through bedtime procrastination if this is something that you're wanting to figure out for yourself and create a morning routine, especially if you're not a morning person. Okay, all right, here we go. Here's a thought. Maybe you can have a successful morning routine even if you don't get up at the crack of dawn. Is the wind messing up my microphone? Anyway, my creative night owls, this post is for you. The morning routine message. I'm not a morning person. And if you're reading this post, maybe you're not a morning person either, though I know I have some readers who are morning people but still want to do a morning routine. We love you too. Everyone is welcome here. No shame, no judgment, right? One of the things that really burns my butt is all the messaging that you must get up at a certain time in the middle of the night, really, for those of us who are night people, and do certain things for your morning routine to be considered successful. Deeper than this is the underlying message that if you just don't do mornings, there is something wrong with you. So by extension, if you have a successful morning routine, you are of more value to society than someone who doesn't. Get this? Morning routine equals successful. Not a morning person equals slacker. That's not what we're talking about here. This is not cool, it's not okay, and it's not true either. So which is better, morning or evening productivity? Which is better? So here's a fictitious person who is not me, who might say, I get up at 5 a.m. and run 10K and meditate and do 5 loads of laundry and 15 sun salutations and clean the house before my family starts to stir. Okay, this is some fictitious perfect person. Definitely not me. But what about the people who do the same thing, but they do it at night? The people who run 10K and meditate and do 5 loads of laundry and 15 sun salutations and clean the house after the kids go to bed. What about those people? They stay up till 2 a.m. to do it, and because of this, they can't, or more importantly, shouldn't get up at the crack of dawn. The output is the same, but society views the two very differently. Think about that. Are you one of those people who thinks that way? Maybe. Are you one of those people who thinks that way about yourself because you're not a morning person? Watch this. It's a total loadable. Anyway, early versus late. Think about these words, early and late. They come with baggage. The word early comes with a suggestion that we are getting ahead of the game, whatever that game might be. We are being proactive, looking ahead to what's coming and adjusting our actions accordingly. We've all heard the early bird gets the worm. The implication is obvious. Those who get up early and do as many things as possible are those who reap the most rewards. So people think. Conversely, we often associate the word late with missing out or losing opportunities to those aforementioned early birds. Even if we fall into the category of people who do their most productive work late at night, society generally views us as being behind in the game, even if we do the same amount of work, even if we meet our deadlines. Sleeping late implies that we don't have our together enough to haul our butts out of bed. Staying up late means we don't have the discipline to shut down and go to bed at a decent hour like everyone else. The word late is a huge problem. But listen, there's nothing wrong with you. My creative night owl friends, there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Please hear me. There's nothing wrong with you. What is wrong here? The messaging is wrong. The idea that doing the same amount of work, but at a different time on the clock is wrong. The implication that getting up early means you're more of value to society than those who toil late into the evening is wrong. But you, there's not a damn thing wrong with you. Please hear me. Why late work is awesome. I've been writing about the phenomenon of flow a lot lately. This is when you fall into a deep state of focus on whatever you're doing, so the time passes without you noticing and progress feels effortless. It's that magical state that you don't realize you're in until you're not. Hopefully you found that for yourself. Those of us who are real night owls, we often find this deep, dark nighttime to be the best time to reach flow. We just prefer it that way. That's just how we're wired. My favorite time to do my deepest work is between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. It's always been that way. It's quiet. No one expects you to be available to answer emails or messages or whatever. It's time that you can justify just for you. And I get my very best, most creative and most productive work done during that time, partly because it's quiet. There's a bit more to it though, I think. This is also a time when you've had the opportunity to put things away for the day. You've cleaned the kitchen and tidied up and closed all the open loops from the day. And this allows you a feeling of, okay, now I can do the thing that I wanted to do. There's freedom here. Early birds versus night owls, we're just wired differently. Of course, the early morning hours are quiet too. At 5 a.m., no one expects you to be answering emails or messages either. People who are not true night owls would argue that you can do the same kind of work early in the evening for this exact reason. So people who aren't night owls think that you can do that stuff in the morning or at night. But it's deeper than that. It's not that night owls can't get up early in the morning, because we totally can. More on that in a second. It's that we prefer to work late at night. Our brains fire faster at night. Things come more easily to us then. We are more likely to fall into flow at night. We love working at night. It's not that we can't work in the morning. It's that we prefer night because it just works better for us. Staying up too late. If you've made it this far with me, I hope you understand that working late at night is just as good at working early in the morning. If you get the work done, great. If you love doing it at night, great. Whether you work at night or in the morning, whichever works best for you really makes no difference, and it's no one's dang business anyway. However, there is something else to consider here, and this is where some of the tension and shame comes from. The problem is this. If you stay up late doing your best work, this often causes difficulties getting up in the morning. When you work late at night, you have the freedom to work until you're done working. We know what happens though, right? We stay up too late. Too late means you end up suffering for it in the morning, okay? It just means that our bedtime gets in the way of us getting the sleep we need. That is when late becomes too late. How much sleep we need is individual, of course, but we all have time-sensitive morning commitments. This is where, you remember I said at the beginning, grab that freebie download that's a pop-up when you go to the blog? We're getting into this now. Bedtime procrastination and the problem of adulting. Those of us who love to stay up late know we're not always working late. Sometimes we stay up late taking me time, which is a crucial component of regular self-care. We need this. So many of us fall prey to binge watching a full season of Schitt's Creek or taking advantage of unlimited lives on Candy Crush. Guys, I totally got that last night. And also I just passed level 4,000. It's a little bit crazy. I might be speaking from personal experience. I'm on holiday. I did a little bedtime procrastination with Candy Crush last night. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with this. The problem is we need to get certain things done in the morning by a certain time. That's the problem. Everyone has a non-negotiable panic wake-up time. That time that if you miss waking up by this time causes further problems later in the day. Maybe you end up late for work, or your kids miss the bus, or you don't get the lunches done, or whatever. Yes, the problem is adulting. We have responsibilities, and some of these responsibilities are time connected. It just so happens that most of this adulting stuff is connected to schedules that support early morning starts and leaves we night owls groggy, grumpy, and maybe a little behind. We still need to get up and do the adulting things. This is likely the biggest challenge facing night owls. It's my biggest challenge. Here are some myths, 3 of them, around having a morning routine. There are so many preconceived notions about having a morning routine, and a lot of these notions are directly tied to this culture of shame towards night owls. Let's dig in a little. Myth number 1, you have to be a morning person to have a morning routine. That's a total load of baloney. People who are grumpy in the morning can totally have a morning routine, and a kick butt one too. I'm one of those people. Totally. Do I love getting up? No, but I love my morning routine. Myth number 2, you have to get up at the crack of dawn to do your routine. Otherwise, don't bother. This is also a total load of... If you get your butt out of bed and do things in the morning that you want to do, then you have a morning routine. It doesn't matter when you do it. Myth number 3, my schedule always changes, so I can't have a consistent morning routine. Says who? Totally, says who? Where is the morning routine user manual that says your routine must be tied to the same times every day? Usually 5 a.m. Totally not. The routine can be a series of steps done one by one in an order that makes sense for you. Do you like to sleep later on the weekends? Totally, me too. There's no reason your morning routine can't follow you into the weekend. Mine does. Totally, mine does. Do you work shifts? Your morning routine doesn't have to be done in the morning. You can do a morning routine anytime it suits your schedule. How can I create a morning routine if mornings are really hard? That's an easy answer. Automate as much as possible. The answer is easy, but the implementation is a little harder. In fact, this will be the subject of next week's blog, so be sure to come back and read about automations for successful morning routines. For my creative night owls, this is where the success lies, is in automations. Is there hope for me? Yes, gosh, yes. Remember the following. There is nothing wrong with you if you like to stay up late. Any work is good work as long as it gets done. See a typo in my blog. Whether you do your best work at night or in the morning is no one's dang business. You can have a successful morning even if you hate getting up in the morning. Tune in next week to find out the big secret to getting your night owl butt out of bed in the morning, if that's what you want to do, of course. So, at the bottom of the blog, I've also linked some other blogs that I've written that I refer to and that you might find useful. One of them is Hate Mornings, how to create a morning routine, how to manage bedtime revenge procrastination, and how to create a solid bedtime routine. So please be sure to grab that pop-up. It will help you. And post below or comment, what is your biggest challenge with creating an effective morning routine? I'd love to know what your biggest challenge is, and maybe we can start some conversations that'll help you and some other people too. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and have a great day. See you next week.